Welcome to Millennial Motive. My name is George Elias, and as you can see, we are still in quarantine, unfortunately. This world is a very, very, very strange world we're living in right now, not unlike the 1920s or the 1820s or the 1720s. But hopefully we'll have more Great Gatsby type events going later on in the 20s. It's also a little bit weird today because Orlando is not here with us. This is going to be the first time I am in the driver's seat for the podcast. So we'll see how this goes and whether or not you need to boot me off the podcast and I need to stick to the technicals or not. I am here with the infamous Anis Abdul Karim. He has been a long time friend of mine, going back to UCR, back to the college days. Anis is a entrepreneur, self-starter, and TikTok famous. I don't really know how. Not yet. You're doing amazing on TikTok. You're doing. You're doing really great numbers. You're doing great numbers, and if I'm not, I don't know how else to describe Anis other than he is an eclectic soul with a hustle spirit to match. So Anis, it is my honor to introduce you to the podcast. Thank you for being on the show.
No, I appreciate it. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited to do this, and I'm really happy that you started doing something like podcasting because I've always been wanting to do podcasts. I've wanted to, start my own, but, I just haven't really gotten into it. So I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we ask everyone on the podcast is, just the basic stuff. Like, what do you do? What is your business? What is what puts the food on the table for you?
That's a great question. So a little bit, real quick background. I studied accounting in my undergrad, got my MBA. In between that, I worked in accounting for a little bit, corporate slavery accounting. I didn't like it too much. Moved away from that, kind of worked on my own, entrepreneurship stuff. I did a lot of stuff with cars for years. Did a lot of traveling in that time too. It's kind of like a free spirit, just making money as much as I can and, hustling as much as I can and just kind of traveling. And then kind of started slowly helping out with the family business as well, which was which is produce. We wholesale produce, mainly nuts, raw nuts, almonds, pistachios, walnuts, and many other goods like dates, yellow dates, so on and so forth. So we do a lot of stuff, a lot of distribution for that in the US and Canada. So I'm kind of like, I have my hands a little bit everywhere. And more recently, I started doing social media, TikTok more specifically. And been making a little bit of money doing that. And it's been really fun, to be honest. And that's where I kind of see myself moving forward in the future.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, I just recently reconnected with Anis this year. Just with COVID and with quarantining going, Anis reached out to everyone trying to push them to do their own content, and I was one of the people who was fortunate enough to be on his phone list on people to call.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the kind of stuff you can do when you surround yourself with good people, and that's definitely the case here. We were able to do a fantastic video to help support Lebanon. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but this was, I can't believe I'm saying this was almost 5 months ago when we started working on this project. This was the port explosion in Beirut. And you, Anis, myself, and another guy, Zahir,
Zahir.
Yeah, sorry,
I read that. Okay.
I read that, and I think of Zahir from Legend of Korra. So
no
Zahir.
worries. Yeah.
So Zahir, yeah. So the three of us, we basically pulled a 72-hour binge and just finished this video, and
it was a great one. It was excellent video.
Powerful stuff to bring awareness to what happened, and
definitely
it really brought to my attention the importance and the benefit of surrounding yourself with good people. I know I've said that, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I cannot stress it enough. When you have people in your corner who are not only supporting you, but you're supporting them, it's just a positive feedback loop, and everyone benefits from it. I can't really speak too much about the influence I've had on Anis because he basically came into my life like a meteorite this year and helped me help. Basically, that's what happened. It's like the dinosaurs were there, and then Anis showed up as the KT explode as the meteorite, and then afterward, now we have the age of furry mammals. So perfect segue of furry mammals. Let's talk about your TikTok a little bit. Let's talk about
Let's
that.
do it. Let's do it. Yeah, man. TikTok has been great this year. I mean, a lot of people have been really kind of just coming out of nowhere, making random videos, random people, ordinary people like you and me. I didn't, think of myself as some like social media star or whatever. And then I started doing TikTok. It was fun. It was like this quarantine thing where random people would just get on, and started getting a lot of really natural feedback from a lot of people. And they had a lot of good stuff going through their feeds. And so when I started realizing that there was a lot of good content that, can be made, just random things, whatever it was, it's like, let me film my life or something along the lines of my life. And our business, actually, the first video I posted revolved around almonds. It was when the season first started back in April. And I realized, like, how the heck did this video get close to 500,000 views? You know? And then I started posting more stuff. And then I started posting videos about like my body hair and body hair removal and what I do to maintain my hair, my beard, whatever, like a lot of different stuff. And a lot of the body hair stuff was very popular. So I just kind of kept going with that. And I got to the point where I was getting tons of traction, tons of views. And I started getting paid by TikTok, which is pretty cool. And it's kind of like YouTube, like, oh, you're a YouTuber, you get, you see those videos on YouTube, how do I make money on YouTube, or how much money do I make on YouTube with so and so thousand followers or subscribers? So it's kind of the same thing with TikTok. You kind of get paid by views. It's not really like an AdSense thing, and it was kind of cool. And I started realizing that over the last few months, and I started like pushing out more content, and I really, really enjoyed it, and it was fun. And now I'm kind of on the lookout for sponsorship deals, more specifically Manscaped. So if anybody from Manscaped is watching this, hit me up ASAP.
Yeah, it's honestly, let's think about this for a minute. A Manscaped kit is cheaper than a. This isn't a spot. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just saying a Manscaped kit is cheaper than having your air conditioning run all summer. So
Yeah.
it's a survival adaptation at the best.
Hmm.
Man, it's really incredible because I have a lot of people who who said, man, I got to get on TikTok. I have to take advantage of this blue ocean because there's not a such a vacuum, but there's such a void of content. And now, since March of last year, I can't believe I'm saying March of last year, it's been an explosion of content creators who are focusing on just that 15 to 60-second reach. I'm
Hmm.
really curious, at what point when you were making TikTok videos did you realize this could turn into something?
That's a good question. I would say probably in the middle of the summer. I was doing. I probably had a couple videos by then that had gone over 1 million views, and I started realizing that people actually are enjoying watching this stuff. And I started realizing how many of these companies would put ads up, such as
Yeah.
Manscaped, with guys that were hairless. They had like two hairs on their body, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So I started posting a lot of content using their products, and I realized I'm making insane numbers, like throughout the months. And I started getting paid by TikTok through their creator fund, which you have to apply for, and you have to have, I don't know, however many views and however many followers and whatnot. But I started realizing that this can be something, worthwhile. So I want to continue doing it, and it was fun. The main thing for me, it's like it wasn't just like, oh, like it's work, right? Like you have to go onto the app, You have to constantly upload. I try to upload at least 2 videos a day. I was doing 4, 5, 6 videos a day in the beginning. Now, close to about like 85,000 followers or something like that. I mean, nothing too crazy for TikTok. It's great, and I appreciate every single one of those followers. But um, it's something that's like, wow, a year ago this was non-existent. Not even in the picture. And I'm averaging, 14 plus million, close to 15 million, and just in the last month of views. So those views have been like a big like explosion in my head. Like, wow, the opportunities, and it's been great. It's been great ever since the summer. I've just kind of been pushing and trying to make good content, and I've been pushing you, obviously, as you mentioned before. I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people. It doesn't matter if you're just sitting at home. All you got to do is just pick up the most powerful tool everybody has in today's world, right? Turn on your phone, hit the record button, and it could change your life. And I've a person that I've experienced it. I really have.
Man, it's incredible to think of something like this, because when I think of like original creators, I'm thinking of Ryan Higa back in the days, like 2007 when he started uploading stuff. I'm thinking Jenna Marbles, Wheezy Waiter started in
Yeah.
2000. Yeah, I'm thinking like this is the start of a new wave of creators. And it's like, you had your Vine stars who disappeared and then jumped onto YouTube that everyone hates. You have the what is it? What was there were a lot of big ones. It's all the Silicon Valley type stuff that just shows up and disappears. But I think what's really fascinating for especially people like us is that you're always looking for not necessarily the next big thing. You're looking for what I can do with the skills I have, and while improving your skills, taking advantage of the opportunities at hand. So you, like you said, your phone is the most powerful tool that you have right now in your pocket. I am overkill, and I have a massive crazy camera setup and microphone setup for Zoom. But the fact remains that even that type of equipment is still as affordable as an iPhone. You can pick up a proper cinema rig to shoot movies on for less than a grand. And I know
Yeah.
less than a grand is not cheap, but iPhone, cinema
Yeah.
rig.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah. So everything is at that price at this point. But it's incredible to see the kind of growth you've had, and it's incredible to see the kind of response. Who knew that sugar waxing your back was going to be the next big thing on TikTok?
No, you just don't know. You just don't know. When you're bored in quarantine and where there's just a million different things that you could be doing, things just get wild. It was honestly like I kind of lost a bet to do it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm filming the whole thing and I'm gonna put it online, and it, kind of exploded a little bit into something that is my TikTok now. So it's cool. It's cool. It's a really cool experience.
Man, I don't even know what else to. Usually Orlando's the one who does the interviews and stuff, so I'm kind of at a loss. I usually chime in once or twice an episode, but no, this is a completely different ballgame for me. So I'm just acknowledging right now that I need to develop my skills as a host. Let's talk about some of your other ventures right now. You have your TikTok stuff for your personal, but prior to this episode, you were telling me that you do a lot of stuff with cars too.
Oh yeah. So with TikTok as well. Well, let's kind of take it back a step. Right before quarantine, I kind of told myself, I'm like, hey, I wanted to really get into. I was planning to get a Tesla. I really love cars, and I wanted to get. I know there's a lot of people doing car stuff on YouTube and whatnot. I really wanted to get this Tesla. The new Model Y was coming out. I wanted to put an order in. I wanted to do some content creation, and then my content creation past was me traveling, putting traveling videos up on YouTube, which wasn't like nothing serious. I just enjoyed doing it. So I told myself, why don't I just start something within the automobile industry, since I'm kind of in that industry. And I started doing that, and then I realized, wow, like TikTok is pretty good. And so I started doing a lot of stuff on my personal stuff, and I actually or sorry, before I started my personal page on TikTok, I actually started the car one. And I started doing the car one. It was like every week or two I'd post a video, like nothing too crazy. I didn't have my Tesla yet until midsummer. And so I started to slowly neglect the car channel after a month or two into quarantine because I realized the potential what TikTok had going through my personal page, and I was focusing on my personal page. And then once I got the Tesla Model Y, I started posting a lot of stuff on there regarding that. And maybe just about a couple of months ago is when it really started uh, blowing up a little bit more in terms of getting traction and more people who are interested in my stuff. With that page, I have maybe about 35,000 followers, which is pretty good. It's not bad. And I'm just posting a lot of Tesla stuff, but I'm also getting paid there. I'm also on the Creator Fund, TikTok Creator Fund. And unfortunately, because of TikTok, because I've been kind of trying to double down a little bit on TikTok and focusing a little bit more there than on YouTube, that I have a little bit neglected YouTube, which I, kind of don't like, and I really want to get back into it. We were doing like daily family vlogs when the quarantine started, which was so fun for me. And I wish I was able to do both and juggle both for throughout the year. And I think I could have. It's just that I was really trying to focus on TikTok, which kind of paid off. You know what I mean?
You focus on building a pillar, and then you're going to focus on building the next pillar with your audience, as opposed to splitting your resources and just dividing your efforts. You decided to just double down on one thing and then you go to the next one, build it, you go to the next one, build it, and so forth. Now oh man, that's amazing. So what are your plans, like, now that it's the new year, now that it's 2021 and we all survived 2020? Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that, but
Yeah.
it's happening.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. It's weird. So what are your plans for 2021? Just doubling down on YouTube, or
That's a
anything in the
good
pipeline?
question. No, I'm still focused on TikTok right now. My mind is there. I am trying to really get going on the app. I don't think. Here's the thing. I think I'm still far behind, even though I've done great stuff on TikTok. I think I'm still far behind on TikTok. Uh, to be honest, my main goal for TikTok to end 2020 was to reach 100,000 followers, to have at least one sponsorship deal. And don't get me wrong, it's been great. Some companies have they've sent me free stuff, especially with my car stuff, my car page on TikTok. I've gotten a lot of free stuff for my Tesla and different accessories and whatnot. It's been really cool. But in terms of like an actual sponsorship deal, especially for my personal page, that was kind of at least one goal. And then the second was also the 100,000. So I'm gonna hopefully reach that by either the end of the month or mid February. But who knows? On TikTok, you can blow up and overnight you have 1 million followers. So I don't know what's going to happen, but TikTok is definitely going to be in my focus range, and YouTube is going to slowly creep back in to kind of juggle that around a little bit. I don't know when, but it's definitely going to happen. And this is when it comes in where I'm going to be pushing your butt to be doing a lot more, probably doing a lot more with me as well, because we've talked about it in the past. And that's what I want to do, man. I really want to get you to start doing a lot more content, not just for yourself, but doing this stuff, with cars, because I know you like cars, I like cars. It's something that we can do and make really good content, and it's just like another channel for people to watch, and I think they would enjoy it.
See, this is why I love Anis. I kept saying it at the beginning of the episode. I'm going to say it till the end of this thing. It's just surrounding yourself with good people, and that influence really does help you to succeed. So actually, as I was about to ask you a question while you were taking a drink, but let's talk about that for a minute. Why even bother surrounding yourself with good people? Why not just be the lone wolf with the scraggly beard and going into the wilderness? Why not just tackle everything on your own?
That's a good question. I'm a firm believer of you are who you surround yourself with. So a lot of the people that, are around me or I like to surround myself with are, people who obviously share similar beliefs, similar energy, so on and so forth. I think that in terms of content creation, in terms of, social media and whatnot, you have an understanding. You see the potential. You know what it could bring, and you know where we could be. So I think that's very important because a lot of people don't see it that way. I could see myself, not just in terms of like TikTok or social media, where I'm out here spewing like some BS knowledge that somebody might not think is, feasible for your future, right? It's like, oh, you're doing social media, yeah, whatever. Like, go get a real job, or stuff, something like that. You know what I mean? Um,
For the audience who's just listening, I just opened my eyes so wide that you could see the whites on all around my pupil.
so there's always going to be those naysayers, and I like to surround myself with people who think the same way I do and have this like crazy mentality or crazy like we're going to get it done. No, we're going to do this. This is going to happen, and we're going to show the world like what can be possible, because you see it every single day. There are random people just getting on social media and their life changes for the better. You know what I mean? And it could be anybody. And if you want to put the work in, you're going to receive a lot of good energy, a lot of good stuff coming back to you. And I've seen that firsthand again with TikTok. I put the work in. I've seen a lot of good outcome from it.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Listen, buying and selling a house is a big step for a lot of people, but with the right person by your side, anything is possible. That's why picking a realtor you can trust matters. I decided to get into real estate to provide hope that with the right help, anything is possible. So if you or a loved one needs any help understanding how to buy or sell a house, contact me. I will be the realtor, 760-675-2275. Now, let's get back to the show.
Now, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. No, that's just that this is good. This is beautiful. Oh, I have a question. I know I keep asking the good questions, but I think this is the one that's gonna hit. This is the one that's gonna hit it the hardest.
I like the juicy ones.
You like the juicy ones. You like the teen that's coming straight off the tree. The
Yeah.
figs for everyone who doesn't speak
Yeah,
Arabic.
yeah. Fig Tree Cinemas.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, there you go. Shameless plug. I didn't intend that one, but you like the ripe and juicy ones. All right. So with all the successes that you've had, I'm actually really curious. What was a pivotal failure? What was a failure that after you had it, you realized you needed to change course and to do what you did? Because I can assume, like, you said that you bummed around. I'm not going to use those terms. I'm going to say you traveled. You were an accountant. You got your MBA. What was the pivotal, I don't even want to say failure, but what was the pivotal moment that made you decide that you wanted to do your own thing?
It's a great question, actually. It was.
I love asking this question. I've asked it so many times.
Yeah, I know, definitely. And for me, it was I woke up early. I had to go to this was when I was I had just did I just graduate? I think, yeah, I had just graduated, and I just started down in Irvine doing corporate accounting, like with a big firm. And I was at a client's a few weeks in, or like a month or a month and a half in, actually. So I went to a client. I was doing my first. I think it was my first day going to that client, and my first time going to the actual client's office and doing audit work there. I worked in audit. So I'm on my way. I am driving there early in the morning on the 5 North, terrible place, in the Fullerton area, and I get pulled over. The cop was just, tracking me and just pulled me over. And honestly, I think all tickets are BS, but that's just me. I got pulled over. I got a ticket. I already started off the day terribly. And I was a little bit late. I got into the client's office, and my team was there. And these people are higher ups. I had just started. And it was like, I told them, I just got a ticket, and, I'm having a bad day, whatever. And to me, I'm a natural, I have a natural potty mouth. I'm a Gary Vee type of guy. I curse a little bit. And it's not, I'm just not like I'm cursing at you. I'm just cursing a little bit in terms of like, if I love you, I say like I effing love you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say like I love you or whatever, right? It, you know what I mean?
You're not the stereotypical Lebanese. Oh, I love you, habibti.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, I'm so far from that. I'm so far from that. I'm very Lebanese. Don't get me wrong, but I'm so far from that. It's not even. It's crazy. But I got there and they were just telling me. I think I sat down with the one of the HR. Yeah, I sat down with my recruiter, who's in HR, and she told me, everything was great. Like we really like you. You work hard, whatever. Just one thing that the team told me was that like you were cursing a little bit or whatever, and we shouldn't do that around like client's office, whatever, stuff like that. Be a little more professional. That was kind of like the clicking point where I'm just like, I'm not gonna be muzzled. I am going to say and I am going to do. At the end of the day, I know I'm a very good person and I will never curse at someone or, demean someone or whatever. It's like me just kind of like talking my emotions and, saying some words that, not necessarily are, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you think they're professional or not, but that was kind of like a clicking point for me where I realized I cannot be with these people. I cannot be on the same level mentally with these people and I am not going to fake it, you know? So yeah, recently after that, I ended up leaving. They wanted to, give me a nice paycheck and stuff like that, and kind of woo me in. And I told them no, thank you, and I left.
Wow. Wow, that is that man. Yeah. I don't know how else to respond to that. I don't know how else to take that. That's
I
incredible.
didn't care. I didn't care. You throw money at my face. I don't care. I can make that anytime. It's in my blood. I'm Lebanese. I can make money.
I was just about to say that's another thing that we both have in common is we're from the same part of the world. If you couldn't tell by the amount of hair that we both can grow, man, this episode is going to be very confusing for a lot of people who are regular listeners. We haven't had an episode like this ever. So no, we're from the same part of the world. Here's something actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, what are some challenges specifically to being a Middle Eastern business owner? I'm not talking about business owner like Mama and Baba. They open the liquor shop on the corner or they have the hookah lounge or whatever. Like what specifically to you about being a business owner, even just a business owner, it doesn't have to be problems people give you, but what about problems within the community?
Okay. So what you're asking is, how do I see issues as being a business owner within the community?
Because let's face it, what is it? You're doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disgrace to family.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. My mom still fights me every day to wants me to be a lawyer. Not gonna happen. It's just not who I am. And frankly, you have to understand my family dynamics. So most of my mom's family is not here. Most of them are in Canada, like, her siblings and her mom and stuff like that. And my entire dad's family and his entire daya, his entire village is here. Most of them are here in Southern California. Some of them are in Virginia, a lot of them in Ohio. So I grew up around my dad's family a lot. And most of my cousins, all gazillion of them are, business minded and are within the business realm of their career, right? So we're all there, and none of us are really the only two people who didn't really do business are my cousin who's a PT and my sister who is a dietitian. She's a registered dietitian. Everybody else has done HR, finance, so on and so forth, marketing, whatever, you name it. So we've all been like in the business world and done business. Um, and so kind of it's kind of been normal a little bit in my family, not necessarily similar to like the community where, I've seen like some families, every single one of the kids is like, a doctor or in med school or whatever, right? Typical. And honestly, George, my friends are miserable, man. Like I'm telling you, I feel like I am the most free. I feel like I'm the most free I'm the freest person within the group, or a lot of people who are like my few really close friends, right? A lot of them who are either doing med school or some kind of law school or whatever. I have seen people who are just miserable. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who love what they do, and it's very few. I still have friends who are still doing accounting or are in some big firm, and they hate their lives. They're miserable. I'm not miserable because I didn't want to. I knew myself, and I knew that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't let the community pressure me. I did not let the Lebanese community get into my head, because that's where I started first. I wanted to be okay with myself. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I'm still young as hell. Okay. I am super young. I'm 26 years old. That is nothing. I'm still a baby. So are you. So are a lot of people.
I'm even more of a baby.
Yeah. No, a lot of people in our community are still very young and they get so stressed out. And I feel so bad, especially for the women in our community. The women in our community are so pressured, not only by career, but their biological clock to get married and have children. Because you know how it is. You know what I mean? And it sucks. I mean, I've got two sisters. You know, I know how it is. I know the pressures. And it's not something that a lot of the older generation within our community understands or is aware of. It's something that's just automatic to them. It's just normal. So there's no other way. There's no, you know, so it's very hard for them to think outside of that.
For those of you who don't entirely understand what Anis is saying, if you've seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, take the pressure that Tula was suffering and multiply that by 100.
A
That's
gazillion.
a gazillion, basically. Yeah, it's the same. It's basically the same pressure. I definitely have seen the pressure and how it affects a lot of people. I know some people personally who've had that, and it's really telling. Like you said that you're the most happy out of all your friends. You're the most mentally, I almost want to say that you've secured your mental foundation. You've secured your mental foundation and your own security in yourself, so that now when you do anything, you don't care. You can do these incredible things because you put in the work and you put up with the negativity of, why don't you go to medical school, Habibi? You need to have a good career. You need to get the 401ks so that way when you're retired, you can cash in on your checks, you know? Like, Habibi, like, come on, please, take care of yourself.
No,
Like,
George, it's a very valid thing.
Yeah.
What we're talking about right now, because it's terrible.
It's a big, and we were talking about this even before the call. I know I keep making fun of the Lebanese because I'm Syrian and Syrians make fun of Lebanese, and I'm Lebanese, so I'm allowed to make fun of both. But both sides that mentality of trying to get the security is really interesting. I actually found this out in an ethnic studies class. The only people who were allowed to come to the United States in the late 1800s, early 1900s were people who had degrees or they had high-paying professions. Doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Yeah. And over time, the ones that came over decided to instill that into their kids because that's all they knew, because their parents pushed that upon them. In biology, this is called an anachronism. Like anarchy, chronos, like time, so against time. A perfect example of this would be like the Great California Condor. I know this is kind of getting off topic, but it'll make sense in a second. The California Condor is the largest bird in North America. I think it has a wingspan of like 10 feet. It's huge. 10, 12 feet. It's massive. But there aren't enough animals to feed a massive population. They almost went extinct in the 50s. So why are these condors so big? Well, one of the prevailing hypotheses is that they survived the great extinction of the Ice Age when there were giant mammoths and sloths and, dying bison everywhere and these massive glyptodonts everywhere. So they just stayed big because they just survived. They were able to survive off of eating dead whale carcasses afterward. So I'm tying that back into the anachronism of the doctor, lawyer, engineer. That comes from a place of fear. That comes from a place where they didn't know how to get out of their country except by doing this. But now that we are here, we can branch out. We don't have to fit that mold.
Yeah, definitely. And this fear, and that's the problem, this fear molded with the insecurity is the biggest thing that a lot of people are facing. And with me, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about me. You know, when a lot of parents are pushing their kids to do something, it's because the fear that they have what the community is going to say about them. I do not give a single what the community thinks about me, what I'm doing. I am going to live my life. I am going to be happy, and I'm going to continue doing that for the rest of my life. And I don't care what my kids do in the future, just as long as they're happy, right?
Alf
And
Mabruk.
so I think, yeah, no, I mean, that's something that I live my life on. And I want all my friends to get there and understand that and be that because they are going to be miserable. And I feel bad for them. I really do. I feel so bad for them.
What would you say to the response of look into something practical or get a real job? How would you respond to those two statements? I'm asking you this out of personal interest, but also I think this would be helpful to whoever's going to be listening to this. I think that's going to be a really good response.
Yeah.
What would you say in response to those?
What I would say is basically my thought process when I left my quote unquote accounting career early on was that I am not going to be working for these people. These people are going to be working for me. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. You know, and it's funny because when I left, and a little bit of these higher ups, like they knew that my family had a wholesale produce business and whatnot, and agriculture in this country is if not number two, the number one industry in the world. I mean, food's a huge industry. So they saw like money signs like, hey, we want to get them as a client, like, hey, let us know if you ever whatever, if you ever need some work done. These are big corporations, or they, excuse me, they work like clients are big corporations. When I was at the firm, and so I read that's that these were the things that were just constantly clicking in my head. So when I have a lawyer, when I have an accountant, when I have so on and so forth, these people are working for me. I'm a business owner. I own a corporation. I am going to be me, and I'm also going to have this empire. You know, you know what I mean, business empire, that I am going to have people, working, these professionals working in terms of me as their client. They're working for me. So yeah, that's my response to people who really want to throw that BS at me. Whatever. If you want to live that average life, go right ahead. You're gonna lose your energy. You're gonna not be happy. You're not gonna get to enjoy the positive things that life has to offer, like traveling and whatnot. And maybe your hobbies. A lot of people give up, or just end up throwing out their hobbies out the door when they start their careers. You know, and they just can't do it, or they just can't get hurt, or whatever it is. Just like when you're in high school athletics, it's like don't go and play that other sport, or don't go and ski or snowboard. You're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean?
Or I was about to say, don't take up drama classes while you're on the basketball team. Some of you are going to get that reference. Some of you are going to get that reference, because you might end up making a massive hit movie that everyone between the ages of 15, no, between like 18 and 25 remembers watching in school. Man, no, that's incredible. How do you know to be that sure of yourself? At what point can you split cockiness from confidence?
That's a good question. It's because I have vision. When you, it's like I imagine myself here, and this is where I'm gonna be. Since I was a kid, I would tell myself, this is what I want, this is where I'm gonna be. It doesn't specifically have to be just as I imagined it, but something along those lines. My favorite quote, my senior quote in the yearbook actually for high school, it was by Henry David Thoreau. It's go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you have imagined. Right? And I live by that every day. It's like I imagine myself here. this is what I want to do. I imagine myself not being a corporate slave. I'm not going to be a corporate slave. I am going to be financially free. I am going to happily, be going about my business every single day, doing the things that I love to do. While everybody's going to be working tomorrow, I'll be up on the slopes snowboarding.
I like that. I like understanding that, because that's a big thing. That's a big thing that a lot of people our age have, is sometimes it's a level of confidence that isn't backed, and therefore it turns into boasting and cockiness. And then the people who have vision are set back because they don't want to portray that false sense of not false sense of security, that false sense of, like, they don't know where to split that, so they just avoid it altogether. Is there anything you can say to people who want to start making content? And I'm going to put myself in the hot seat because I need to start making my own content. Elias has been pestering me. He's been taking the cattle prod and lighting the fire and trying to brand me, saying, make art now, make content now, make all this amazing stuff now. So, like, is there anything you can say aside from just get up and start? What else? Is there anything else you have to say?
Yeah, definitely. You honestly have nothing to lose. What do you have to lose? What? Tell me, do you have an answer for me? What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Exactly. It's free. It's free. It's literally free. You know what I mean? And this is not only for just like content creation. This is for businesses, for people who want to expand their business. It is free, George. FREE. Do you understand what free means in our culture? When somebody tells you free, you're like, free? What?
Come, I have the whole family. We're going to go lunch a la Costco. They're going to bring the whole tribe of 15, and we're going to just clear out the poor lady who's cutting up samples of, like, ravioli.
Yeah. No, exactly. Free. Balesh. Free in Arabic. In Arabic, oh my goodness, free. When anybody from the Arab world, if they hear the word free, they'll go nuts.
They don't even have to say free. It's like, okay, sure. Don't even.
Yeah. No. Free, man. And I feel that a lot of these old school generation, they're so afraid that, like that's how fearful they are. Okay, like we have this, like, okay, there's a line of like, oh, free, wow. And then there's a line of, having a career or whatever. That's like the most important thing to them for the community. That's how bad it is, where it's more important than free. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
I never thought about it that way, but you're right.
You know what I mean? That's how you know how bad it is within the community.
Oh, wow.
This mentality.
Man, I gotta ponder that one. Wow, this is good. No, I gotta sit. I gotta drink some chai. I have to understand it. For those of you, by the way, I just realized, who don't understand half of the Arabic stuff we're saying, I'm gonna leave translations to everything in the show notes. But I think you can kind of figure out that chai means tea. Chai. I'm really taken aback. I have to think about that for a minute. It is free. It is the ability that we have. Like, I mean, I clearly don't have an excuse. I've got that. I've got the microphone that's just off camera. I've got the whole setup and everything. There's literally no excuse at this point to be making content. There's literally no excuse.
If you give me anything, I can sell it. And if you give me anything, I can sell it even better on the internet. Because it's free.
Yeah.
If you tell me you want to start a business, and you tell me I need $200,000 or whatever BS, this, and that, don't give me that. You have a device in your hand that connects you to the World Wide Web, okay? And you can literally start a business for free.
I love that. Wow. Usually Orlando would finish this episode by asking the host, because our podcast is called Millennial Motive, they would ask, what's your motive? So I'm going to do the same in tradition. So let me ask you this, Anis. What is your motive?
So I guess my motive in life would probably be, I just want to be the best that I can be, right? I wanna, live as long as possible, be as happy as possible, and say that I did the best that I could in everything that I could, right? With everything that I've been given. I'm not perfect. I never will be perfect. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say that I at least tried in one way or another, to the best of my abilities. And, that's what motivates me every day. I wake up every day and, I want to, whatever the day gives me, however I feel, however I'm going to go about my day, I just want to say that I at least tried with one thing. If I can try with one thing, I can try my hardest with another thing, and then with another thing, and then with another thing, and then it kind of just builds on, over time in your life. So I highly suggest, if, a lot of people, especially now in this quarantine, it sucks. A lot of people are not feeling good and they just have no motivation. And they're lacking this like sense of urgency to, do something with their life or whatever it may be. I always, I have a joke with my friends, and I always tell them, like, hey, one day at a time. One day at a time. The one thing that I always, like, my one massive strength that I had, especially going throughout college and, growing up, was that I started realizing how the only thing you can control is right now. That's it. Nothing else. You can't control what happened before. You can't control what's going to happen next. You like right now. Right now is the only thing. And it's the only thing that really matters. So you just put it right now, put your mind right now. And like I said, I'm not perfect, but, every day I'm going to try my best to, live by my words and do the best that I can do.
Elf mabruk, elf mabruk, elf mabruk. I don't know how else to put it. You've said it. You did it. That's perfect. Oh, wow. How can people reach out to you? How can people get in contact with you, and how can people see your amazing, the amount of amazing pain that you've been suffering just to remove your hair?
Yeah. That was honestly only once. I do a lot of pain-free stuff with body hair removal now, but
It's
no,
the one that sticks in my head though.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely contact me on social media. It's Anis Abdul Karim, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can definitely reach me on TikTok. I'm probably, if you really want to get in direct contact with me, Instagram's probably the best way to do it. And I don't think a lot of people use Facebook anymore unless you're like 40 plus years old. I mean, I do, but like, in terms of like contact,
I was about to say I do as well.
No. I use it. A lot of people still use Facebook, but like the best way to actually, like, no one really like contacts you like through Facebook Messenger, but Instagram is probably the best way for me to get in contact with you.
Beautiful. Well, that about wraps up another fantastic episode of Millennial Motive. I want to thank Anis for taking the time out of his evening to be on this episode. I'm so happy that I was able to interview you, get your perspective on this. We always have good phone calls, and we always have that kind of stuff, so it's nice to have a record of the conversations that we have, so that way going forward, when we have our own empires, they can look at us and say, see, Jiddu, he did it. They all did it. What's stopping us? So
definitely.
It's been a pleasure. Well, with that said,
thank you, George.
Appreciate
you. Thank you.
So with that said, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Millennial Motive. My name has been George Elias, and it's going to continue to be George Elias after the episode. So take care, have a good night, stay safe, and have a good one.
Perfect. That wraps it up, folks.